David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight there is breaking news as we come on the air. The new video message just in from Savannah Guthrie. Tonight, Savannah Guthrie's appeal to the public now, saying we're at an hour of desperation in the search for their mother, Nancy Guthrie. It comes amid a deadline sent by a potential abductor who had demanded millions in Bitcoin. Tonight, what Savannah is now asking of the public. Also breaking tonight, the Jeffrey Epstein case. Ghislaine Maxwell appearing virtually before a House committee, pleading the fifth. Her lawyer tonight saying she is prepared to speak, quote, honestly, if granted clemency, and what her lawyer said about President Trump and President Clinton. Tonight, the dramatic images of a plane crashing into a busy intersection moments before the pilot radioed air traffic control saying, we're not going to make it. Please tell my wife I love her. Tonight, there's been a school shooting, gunfire breaking out just as classes were ending for the day. The new images tonight, the NFL star rookie arrested following a high-speed police chase, facing charges tonight accused of hitting an officer with his car and what he allegedly did to a WNBA player. American skier Lindsey Vonn tonight on the crash just seconds into her Olympic run, airlifted to the hospital. Tonight here, just a short time ago, we have now heard from her for the first time. Tonight, for the first time, the video from inside Brown University, police sweeping the halls of the buildings there looking for that gunman, and what the video shows. The surfer surviving after being swept out to sea, what he held onto. The brutal cold and the change now coming from Chicago all the way to New York. And now a new clipper system bringing up to 6 inches of snow to multiple states. Your health tonight, 2 major studies on memory. Can coffee help fight off dementia? And the other study, can a video game actually protect your brain from dementia? What researchers have learned tonight. This evening, actress Catherine O'Hara and her cause of death revealed. And the Super Bowl champs, the Seahawks, at Disneyland tonight. And so is our Whit Johnson.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news and the desperate search for Nancy Guthrie. Just a short time ago, Savannah Guthrie putting out a new message tonight, making a powerful appeal to the public. It comes as another deadline arrives from that potential abductor who had demanded millions in Bitcoin. That second deadline is here. And authorities still do not know if the ransom demand is real. The family had no choice but to take the threat seriously. And just a short time ago, Savannah Guthrie turning to the public now in what she calls their hour of desperation.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Tonight, this new appeal from Savannah Guthrie comes as that second and final deadline has arrived from someone claiming to be Nancy Guthrie's abductor. They had demanded millions in Bitcoin, as I mentioned off the top. They offered no proof of life. Tonight, Savannah now asking for everyone's help across this country, well beyond Tucson. Still so many questions tonight in this investigation, and here's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, that new plea from Savannah Guthrie after an agonizing 8 days.
We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
The post coming just hours before a deadline to send millions in Bitcoin to someone claiming to be Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper. The FBI has been unable to determine whether the ransom demand is credible, but over the weekend, Savannah posted this solemn and cryptic message telling whoever abducted her mother in the dark of night she would pay without asking for proof her mother's alive.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
There have been 2 messages from the purported kidnapper that law enforcement sources told ABC News appear to have come from the same sender, using the same encryption tools to cover their tracks. But tonight, with the deadline now here, the Today host with a new message, and this time it's addressed not to a potential abductor, but to the public, an appeal for anyone to help.
The message that was released a few hours ago today is really not to the kidnappers, it's to the rest of us across this country to help her look for her mother.
Over the weekend, investigators returned to Nancy Guthrie's house, inspecting rooftop cameras, towing a car, and examining what appears to be a septic tank. FBI agents seen going door to door in her neighborhood. Investigators also returned to daughter Annie's house, where Nancy had dinner and game night before the family brought her home. This busy intersection is not far from where Nancy Guthrie lives, and as police search for useful video, they focused on cameras like this one, and police say they've gathered data from nearly every intersection like this across Tucson. And they're zeroing in on overnight hours when there wouldn't have been many cars on the road. Guthrie's quiet desert neighborhood would have been dark when police believe she was abducted, minimizing the effectiveness of home security cameras. Tonight, billboards are up in nearby states as the search grinds into its second week with no suspects and no new leads. At Nancy Guthrie's church, where members first alerted her family when she didn't show up for Sunday services, the congregation is keeping the faith.
We pray for protection over Nancy right now in this moment, in body, mind, and soul.
That community, the family, not giving up hope. Aaron back with us tonight. And Aaron, you heard Savannah there say we're at an hour of desperation here. Previous messages, they had addressed any potential kidnapper or kidnappers, but Savannah's plea late today was really to the public at large, to everyone there in Tucson and really well beyond Tucson.
Begging everyone, anyone for help, David, and her agony in that plea must reflect the frustration that her family is feeling as this investigation, stretching now into a second week, is so far coming up empty. David?
Aaron Katersky in Tucson tonight. Aaron, thank you. To the other news this Monday night, into the Jeffrey Epstein case, Ghislaine Maxwell appearing virtually before a House committee, pleading the Fifth today. Tonight, you'll see the video right here. Her lawyer saying she is prepared to speak honestly if granted clemency, and what her lawyer said about President Trump and President Clinton. Rachel Scott on the Hill tonight.
Tonight, newly released video showing Jeffrey Epstein's only convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, appearing before lawmakers from a Texas prison, refusing to answer questions unless President Trump grants her clemency first.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Maxwell, who is currently challenging her conviction and 20-year sentence for trafficking minors to Epstein, pleading the Fifth. Her lawyer stating she is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump, adding both President Trump and President Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Ms. Maxwell alone can explain why. President Trump, who was friends with Epstein for more than 2 decades, has not ruled out a pardon for Maxwell. Today, the House Oversight Committee's top Republican warning against it.
She's asked for clemency from the president, so I personally don't think she should be granted any type of immunity or clemency.
Democrats arguing Maxwell is playing Trump.
This was an effort to essentially try to secure her pardon by keeping her mouth shut.
The fallout from the more than 3 million pages of Epstein files released by the Justice Department late last month still growing. Democrats and at least one Republican now calling on Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to resign. Lutnick insisted he distanced himself from Epstein in 2005, even calling him gross on a podcast last fall.
I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
But files released by the DOJ show the two were still in contact. This email showing an appointment for drinks in 2011, years after Epstein first pleaded guilty to sex crimes. R.J. O'Brien asking if the committee plans to subpoena Lutnick.
Interested in talking to anyone that might have any information that would help us get justice for the survivors.
And David, tonight, for the first time, lawmakers were able to review the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files at the Department of Justice. Two lawmakers tonight saying they found more names that need to be released to the public. David?
Rachel Scott live up on the Hill for us. Rachel, thank you. Tonight, here, the dramatic images outside Atlanta, a small plane crashing into a busy intersection. And moments before going down, the pilot radioing air traffic control saying, "We're not going to make it. Please tell my wife I love her." Here's Gio Benitez.
Hey, are you seeing it?
This is the terrifying moment on a Georgia parkway tonight. Watch again as a single-engine plane makes a miraculous emergency landing shortly after takeoff.
A plane just crashed on the road.
Minutes after leaving Gainesville Airport, authorities say the aircraft experienced engine issues, forced to turn around.
Gainesville traffic, mayday, mayday, mayday.
Two pilots realizing the plane would not have enough power to make it to the airport or to land safely. One of those pilots with an emotional plea, fearing the worst.
Gainesville traffic, this is Bonanza 229, taking. We're not going to make it. Please tell my wife, Molly, I love her, and my parents. I love them so much.
The plane making an emergency landing on a busy roadway, striking three vehicles, the plane's fuel tank dislodging, going through the rear window of a vehicle, but remarkably, no one was severely hurt.
The fact that they were able to land in the middle of hundreds of vehicles and only hit three of them, no power lines, is very remarkable.
Meanwhile, David, the NTSB and FAA both say they're investigating what happened, but it's truly a miracle that everyone here is alive. David?
Wow, it sure is, Gio. Thank you. Tonight, police racing to the scene of a high school shooting in Rockville, Maryland. Shots fired just as classes were ending for the day at Thomas Wooten High School. Authorities say a student shot and wounded another student in the hallway. Parents then rushing to the scene. Police say one student is in custody tonight. The wounded student is in stable condition. Tonight, the NFL star rookie who's been arrested following a high-speed police chase in Florida, now facing charges tonight, accused of hitting an officer with his car and what he allegedly did to a WNBA player. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, the dramatic police takedown. New video showing officers in South Florida trying to arrest Atlanta Falcons star James Pearce Jr. after authorities say he led them on a chase following a domestic dispute with a WNBA star. Pearce, a first-round pick in the 2025 draft, now facing multiple charges, including aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Pearce seen leaving jail Sunday with his lawyers after posting bond. According to the affidavit, Los Angeles Sparks player Rickea Jackson told police Pearce intentionally collided with her car twice on Saturday outside Miami. Jackson stating she and Pearce had recently ended their relationship after dating for about 3 years. Authorities say Pearce hit an officer with his SUV and fled the scene. He later crashed his vehicle and after a short struggle was taken into custody. A judge ordering Pearce to stay at least 500 feet from Jackson at all times.
Yes, Judge, I understand.
David, the Falcons say they are aware of the incident. In a statement, Pearce's lawyer says he maintains his innocence and that the allegations are hardly the full, complete story. David.
Stephanie Ramos with us here tonight. Steph, thank you. Tonight, after that crash on the slopes, American skier Lindsey Vonn trying to compete with that torn ACL, crashing just seconds in, then airlifted out. Well, tonight, a short time ago, speaking for the first time about this, ABC's Maggie Rulli at the Olympics for us.
From an Italian hospital tonight, Lindsey Vonn speaking out for the first time, addressing her heartbreaking and dramatic crash during her highly anticipated comeback. All eyes were on Vonn Saturday, but a mere 13 seconds into her downhill race, you can see here her pole hitting the gate. Vonn racing on a torn ACL, airlifted off the mountain, later undergoing surgery for a fracture in her leg. The 41-year-old out of retirement and racing in her fourth Olympics, posting on Instagram, "Olympic dream did not finish the way I dreamt it would. It wasn't a storybook ending or a fairy tale. It was just life." Adding, "My ACL and past injuries had nothing to do with my crash whatsoever." Vonn, who didn't address any future plans, says, "Similar to ski racing, we take risks in life. We dream, we love, we jump, and sometimes we fall. Sometimes our hearts are broken. Sometimes we don't achieve the dreams we know we could have. But that is also the beauty of life. We can try. I tried, I dreamt, I jumped." And David, tonight, Lindsey's dad spoke with the Associated Press saying there'll be no more ski races for Lindsey Vonn as long as I have something to say about it. David?
No one can say she didn't try her best, that's for sure. Maggie Rulli at the Olympics for us tonight. Maggie, thank you. When we come back here, 2 new studies tonight on protecting your memory and fighting dementia. What the study reveals about coffee, and can a certain kind of video game protect your brain? More on this. Also ahead, for the first time, newly released images tonight, the desperate search for a gunman and his victims in the moments after that mass shooting at Brown University. What the video shows here. Also, the man swept out to sea, what he held onto and how it saved his life. And we have news tonight on actress Catherine O'Hara, her cause of death now revealed. A lot more news ahead here. Stay tuned. Tonight, newly released police body camera video showing the chaotic aftermath of the mass shooting at Brown University in December. Officers seen rushing in, searching classrooms and hallways, not knowing if the gunman was still inside. 2 students were killed, 9 others injured. The gunman, a former Brown grad student, traveling to the Boston area next, later killing an MIT professor before taking his own life in a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire. Tonight, a California surfer swept out to sea by powerful waves, but surviving this by holding onto a lobster trap onto the surface buoy. The Santa Barbara County Fire Department immediately sending up drones with infrared cameras, spotting the man about a quarter of a mile offshore. No surfboard, but just held up by that buoy attached to the lobster pot. A rescue team swam out and led him back to shore. Just incredible. When we come back tonight, what we have learned about the passing of actress Catherine O'Hara, her cause of death revealed tonight. To the index of other news, the cause of death revealed tonight for actress Catherine O'Hara. The LA County Medical Examiner's Office certifying the immediate cause of death as a pulmonary embolism with rectal cancer as the underlying cause. O'Hara's comedic roles were iconic. She was beloved. She was just 71. Now to the relief coming after this brutal cold from Chicago to New York. After days of wind chills below zero, tomorrow the temperatures will climb above freezing, finally melting some of the snow and ice. But there's also a clipper system bringing up to 6 inches of snow to the interior Northeast across New England that'll come next. There's new research tonight on lowering your risk of dementia. A long-term study finding a few cups of caffeinated coffee or tea a day were associated with an 18% lower risk of dementia. The data gathered over more than 40 years. That report in the Journal of the American Medical Association. A second study tonight finding a certain kind of brain training video game may help protect the brain against dementia for decades. Games like this one right here actually ask users to identify objects quickly and make decisions about them. They showed a 26% lower risk of dementia after 20 years. More effective than games that stress memory or reasoning. That study published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia. The game studied is only available from Brain HQ. When we come back here tonight, the Super Bowl champs, the Seahawks, well, they're at the happiest place on earth.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Consumer Cellular. See how much we can cut your bill.
The Super Bowl champs at Disneyland, and so is Whit Johnson.
Tonight, the Seattle Seahawks are on top of the world.
The Seahawks, Super Bowl champions for the second time.
Seattle's defense dominating the New England Patriots 29-13, capping off an extraordinary turnaround season led by head coach Mike Macdonald.
Second year?
Yeah.
Super Bowl, how's it feel?
Think any better than this. It's incredible.
In between all the football, Bad Bunny's halftime show honoring his Puerto Rican heritage. With appearances from Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin. After the game, the players hoisting the coveted Lombardi Trophy, and the celebration didn't end there. We caught up with quarterback Sam Darnold and running back Kenneth Walker III, the game's most valuable player, at the happiest place on earth. Walker's the first running back to be named MVP in 28 years.
When they showed me the running backs that were the MVP.
A long list of Hall of Famers.
Yeah. So it meant a lot to me to be able to be on that list with those guys and, the greats. So it's a blessing to be able to be in that position.
Darnold becoming the first quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl after playing for 5 or more teams.
In sports and in life, I think everyone goes through something. We're all going through our different challenges, and I think if anything, it just shows people that as long as you believe in yourself, anything's possible.
And David, the Seahawks victory parade is set for Wednesday. Next year's Super Bowl will be played at SoFi Stadium in LA, and you can watch it right here on ABC. David?
Thank you, Whit. MVP running back Kenneth Walker, quarterback Sam Darnold tomorrow morning. on GMA. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.